having real value, right? Because I think that's what everybody is grappling with is how do I be valuable? We say it all the time. You must create value, or he or she that creates the most value wins or gets paid the most. But you are really clear about what does value actually mean, and how do I not be a slave to this thing, right? That for me has been an obsession, and I think it's where you and I are aligned. Is like, I don't want to feel like a slave to my business, to my results. I don't want to ride the emotional roller coaster based on one month I had good leads and I'm feeling like a champion, and the next month I feel like a loser, and my whole well-being rides on the well-being of my business, or whether this person likes me or not, or whether, I've got a customer that's holding me capture or a referral partner.
Hey guys, Wally and Shayla. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. I learned over time, a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show. All right, guys, it's Wally Illiberry. I was about to say Wally Ildeberry, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. We got a big shout out to Dave Savage, but it's Wally Illiberry, author of 24/7 Mindset and the founder of 24/7 Mindset, the Academy. The whole vision, the whole purpose, and the whole setup I want to help people accomplish is being able to build a business that pays you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while you only have to work in it 24 hours a month, 7 months a year. And the biggest thing I want you to understand on that is you can build a really big business and a really big life. So I went to Dave Savage Modern Mortgage Summit earlier this year. It was February, and it was in Vegas. The first speaker, I was so blown away, absolutely drawn to her leadership, absolutely drawn to her empowerment, and absolutely drawn to her matter of fact. So this is Shayla. And what most impressive about Shayla, she tells you how it is. And not only she tell you how it is, but she speaks from the heart. So Shayla, welcome on the show.
Thank you. That's really cool that you said it that way. I always intend to be direct and honest, but hope that it comes across heartfelt, so not so abrasive. That's really, thank you.
Well, I think I told Dave, I said, the Modern Mortgage Summit was absolutely amazing, but you were the perfect speaker for setting the tone. And I never told you, but when I was did my whole PowerPoint and everything, obviously before I got there, and after you spoke, I started like restructuring what I was going to say and the whole entire PowerPoint, the whole entire presentation when I got on stage, and I got most of it out. I'm like, damn, if she's going here, I got to do this. I got to change this. So I was trying to be your copycat when you got up there.
Oh, well, it's so funny because you and I connected there in person for the first time, and you were my by far and away favorite speaker and really thought leader, Wally. I think that, the beauty about our industry and as being a loan officer is that anybody could do it. It doesn't matter where you went to school or if you got a degree or how old you are, what your experience is, tall, small, black, white, purple, who your daddy is. Like, anybody can do this. And the reality is that we all rip off and duplicate from each other. Like, I want to hear that script and we just do it. But rarely do I meet a leader who is a deep thinker, who is like zooming back from their business and going, okay, my life isn't working this way. My business isn't something that I'm really excited about. How can I restructure and do that? And so I was just totally moved by everything you've had to say about, the cash flow quadrant, about becoming a business owner and having real value, right? Because I think that's what everybody is grappling with is how do I be valuable? We say it all the time. You must create value. or he or she that creates the most value wins or gets paid the most. But you are really clear about what does value actually mean, and how do I not be a slave to this thing, right? I mean, that for me has been an obsession, and I think it's where you and I are aligned. Is like, I don't want to feel like a slave to my business, to my results. I don't want to ride the emotional roller coaster based on one month I had good leads and I'm feeling like a champion, and the next month I feel like a loser, and my whole well-being rides on the well-being of my business, or whether this person likes me or not, or whether, I've got a customer that's holding me capture or a referral partner. So I think you and I are both just thinking the same, and also about like, let's live a badass life. Like, why not? If it's available to do, if there's these experiences and dreams and things that we want to do, why not do it, especially in an industry where our income potential is unlimited?
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I mean, there's so much I want to talk to you about, but since you brought up vacations for a second, let's jump on personal before we get to business. But
Done.
so, we just spent 3 weeks in Europe, going through London, then going through Scotland, and literally 18 days in a row playing golf. I haven't picked up a club since because I'm just burnt out of golf. I never thought I'd say those words, but the most special thing to me was I've got a 17-year-old that's about to be 18 next month, and I've got a 16-year-old. And so Braden's my 17-year-old, and Alexander is my 16-year-old, and that the mindset that I had is such a special time coming home, because we had got to have breakfasts together, lunches together, dinners together, tour Europe together, and the experiences and the connection and the bond. It didn't matter what I came home to. It didn't matter if this fell apart or this went negative. And I think I really started to understand that in 2000 and gosh, I think it was 2013. And I share this story at the Modern Mortgage Summit, but it kind of transcends to what I look up to you about. And the mindset is simply that I was doing 45, $50 million in loans back then. And I was working every evening, every weekend, and just married to my job. And, I felt like I was being the hero to my family, but I was being absent. I was an absent father. I was an absent husband. And it was really just, I was a fraud. And that's as
Yeah.
simple as I can say it, right? You get on
Yep.
these stages and then you get all these trophies and accolades, and you get this big W-2, and you make 50 grand in a month, 100 grand in a month, 400 grand in a month. And you feel like you're something. But to the people I cared to the most, my wife and my two sons back then, I wasn't. I was a fraud. And
Yeah.
you go out on stage and you go out in the world and everybody praises you, but do your kids really know who you are? Are you really making an impact? And that really moved me, because Alexander, he was 5 years old at the time. We're going on a family vacation, and I was rolling out my suitcase on my phone, actually rolling out my suitcase, walking out to the front foyer of the house. And Alex stops me and he goes, "Oh, Dad, you're coming with us?" Here's a 5-year-old that's super innocent, super sweet, super shocked that his father's coming on a family vacation. Like, I just wish
Yeah.
I can go back and just like strangle myself. That was my moment. So you and I got in the business both at 19 years old, and, built our way up and built really big businesses and such from there. Have you ever had an experience like that with your family that you were like, this is it. I've got to make a change?
Yeah, I mean, early on, it was. I remember walking in on the phone pretty much every single night, and it became a hard rule where Galen was like, "Listen, you are not allowed to enter the
Yeah.
house on the phone. Period." Um, And because he could see my little one, whether she was 1 or 2, so excited that mom is finally
Mhm.
home,
Yeah.
running to me, and I'm putting that finger out and kind of kicking her off my leg, like, give me a second, give me a second. And I'm not saying that I'm anywhere close to perfect now, because I'm wired to be super driven, to be constantly thinking about ways to grow and expand. And my personal philosophy about life is that I crave expansiveness.
Mhm.
I crave to continue to expand my experiences, expand the love that I'm able to receive and give to others, expand connection, expand, dreams and what's possible. So I've not changed who I am and how I'm wired. But I certainly had to really get serious about being more of a business person
Yeah.
instead of an ego driven, a highly driven personality, wing it, kind of person that was my whole well-being was tied to my business.
Yeah.
So, and I made a major life decision in 2019. I just coached nationally for the core for about 10 years. And I kind of just felt like I'd hit a plateau. Like I wasn't expanding. I wasn't learning anything new. I was just exhausting myself at both ends. I didn't really know about this whole thing like self-care or, regulating my energy. I've just had my foot firmly large on the gas, like, kind of my whole life. It's just the way I run. And I'd accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish, financially, business wise, team wise, won all the awards. And like you said, it was like, okay, well, my kids are 6 and 9. What brings me joy? What in the last 6 days, in the last month, in the last 2 days, what's brought me joy? And what do I really dream to do? If I had no obligations in life, what would I be doing? How would I spend my days? And did kind of a personal offsite that helped me come to this realization, like, I want to live abroad. It's always been a dream. I dropped out of college, but I want to live in Europe. And so it was in February 2019 that I said, okay, we're going to go to Spain and we're going to live abroad, and I'll work remote, and, we'll get this fabulous international experience. We'll have time together, but really we'll simplify our life. I mean, I woke up one day, Wally, going, how the hell do I have 5 cars? How do I have a nanny here 50 hours a week, plus a mother-in-law and a mother that's like full on in my life and in my family? Like it was just too much. I was moving too fast, too much stuff,
Yeah.
calendar that's packed, running myself sick every 3 months. And so I did. I prepared for about 9 months to say, where do I need to improve in my leadership and my processes? How do I need to promote others and train others? And we went in January of 2020, and we ended up spending 3 years living in Spain, through COVID, through that massive explosion of volume. And, unbelievably, my business did better when I pulled back a little bit, when I had more vision, when I was thinking like you, when I was actually thinking and seeing what I could do to support people instead of just being reactive and in the fire and feeling like I've got to save the day all day because my ego wanted to be significant. So anyway, obviously I'm big on vacation and travel, and there's nothing like being in a place and just feeling wonder, just feeling that sense of presence and aliveness and just like, wow, like look at this world we live in, whether it's nature or an old city or whatever. I just thrive on that.
Well, and also getting to experience the feeling you just said about wonder and just like adventure with your children, and understanding that at their ages now, you're building that foundation for how cultured they become as they get older.
Totally.
And you're building that foundation for, hey, what type of father or mother they're going to be for their kids one day. So I think it's brilliant. I remember when at the Modern Warrior Summit, after you spoke, I leaned over, I was sitting next to Denise Donahue, and I leaned over, I was like, who is that? And she goes, you're like, she's like, I don't remember her exact words, but it was something like, she's the hero. And it was
Oh,
something along those lines of around like, talked about how you're abroad in Spain for such a long time. And no, I just admire how centered you are. And the beautiful thing about your content that you're putting out, you are super duper duper crazy clear on who you are. There,
thank you.
there is no trying to be somebody you're not. There is no trying to act the part. And man, it's been great, really great to see you blossom.
Thank you. I will tell you that it's, I think I haven't always felt that way, and especially if that's the perception that you're getting from social media and the content that I'm creating. I don't know what clicked for me at one point, but I think I said, I'm going to switch over to Reels because it's just easier for me to just talk video versus like write a caption. And although ChatGPT definitely makes that much easier today. So I'm now like giving that a go. But and then it's like, well, what am I going to do? Who's the audience? I mean, you just get so stuck in your head, Wally. And there was just an aha moment to me that was like, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to say Shayla shit. Like the stuff that I think all the time, the stuff I'm saying in my branch, the stuff I'm saying on sales calls, the coaching that I'm giving other LOs. Like this is what's inside of me. I've spent 23 years reading leadership books like you. I know you're an avid reader, self-help, personal development, sales. I started going to a sales seminar once a month at the age of 19 and did that for 4 years. So like, I just got this well of things that of course I didn't come up with, but they're just like, Shayla isms. It's stuff that I feel and talk about. And it's really cool that your perception of that is, wow, you're just you being you, because honestly, it's really effortless for me to do that because it is just me being me. And I had a friend go, how do you come up with all this content? And I'm like, I don't know. I film once a month. I think about stuff in the shower, whatever. I throw out my notes in my phone. I hear a podcast and it reminds me of a belief that I have. I read a quote and I'm like, yes, and this. And then I just rip off 16 videos in an hour. And then, I have somebody that edits, posts, and does that all for me. But anyway, I think that the getting stuck on this whole personal brand it really got in my head because I'm like, I'm not into branding but actually it's really about what experience do people expect to have with you when they meet you? How do they expect to feel when they're around you? And I would say the same thing about you, Wally, because I heard you speak and you're very clear, like, this is what it is. This is what I care about. I care about power and control and being valuable in business. That's what I want. And this is how I do it. And let me share it with you. And you've been consistent all the way through in every bit of our communication. And I think that's why you're successful. I'm successful is because we're just who we are all the time. Like we're not having to pretend or show up differently, which is exhausting. And so for whoever's listening to this, like find out what it is that you are. Like if you're positive, be positive all the time. If you're analytical and really thoughtful, be that person and bring that forward. We need it. I love people who are oppositional, who are really counter and think it's not who I am. I don't even watch current events, Wally. I literally don't watch the news. I know nothing that's going on with current events.
Yeah.
And so I'm at the dinner table last night and they're talking about this UPS deal. They're talking about whatever current events are going on. And I'm like, cool, tell me about it. I know nothing. But that's just authentically me. And yet somebody else has really thought about it and they have a complex opinion about it. So, being open and curious or being positive or being thoughtful, whoever you are, just be you, be a bigger version of you.
Yeah. I think it's brilliantly said. And I really hope that really lands with our listeners and your followers, because I mean, you just described you to a T. Where do you feel like, obviously you're a thought leader, you're an influencer. Where do you feel the biggest struggle in mortgages today, 2023? And what are you coaching your loan officers out there?
I think the biggest struggle for people as a loan officer today is them getting in their head and worrying like, how do I stand out? How do I differentiate? How do I really make meaningful value happen? And then also this prejudging that happens, right? So on the coaching call I had last week, we talked about your goal should just be to find people who are an energy match to you. That's it. I don't care if I meet somebody who's 23 or 73. When I sense that zest for life, that desire to expand and grow and think and try things and, like be a go-getter, I'm in on you. I don't care, male, female. I just don't care. Like it's an energy match. And so when you believe that there's other people out there like you, your job is to just go out and meet a lot of people and find those people that are like, but like, I get you. You and I had that kind of experience, Wally, right? And there was probably 75 people in the room. I don't expect to go to an event and meet 75 people or to meet even 5 new best friends. I didn't even go there with the intention of meeting one, but I met you and was like, boom, like I get this guy. We have an energy alignment. I totally respect what he's doing. I'm a fan, like all of it. Right. So that's the first thing, is stop prejudging. Like I have loan officers that are 60 and going, oh, all these realtors are so young these days and they don't think I get them. And, and I'm like, no, that's not true. Like I'm 42. And if somebody sat down with me at 52 or 62 and said, tell me what it's like to be you, Shayla, tell me what it's like to have 2 daughters, that one's in 7th grade, one's in 4th grade. Your husband's got this big personality. You're managing a business. Like, tell me what that's like to be you and to do it all. I would be like, wow, thank you for the question. Well, let me tell you what it's like. I'd probably start tearing up. Like it's hard. Life is hard. This is what it is, And so if somebody takes a genuine interest in you, how does that make you feel? Right. So that's just number one, is like, stop looking for people with a dollar sign on their forehead. Stop profiling and that you need to deal with only people that do X amount of business. Like the landscape is wide open for the next top producers. Just because somebody's been a top producer the last 4 years does not mean they're going to be the next. It's, are you evolving? Are you adapting? Are you really there to serve? Like genuinely here to make a difference in somebody's business? If you're not going to get the business. Pure and simple. Because there's too many people fighting for a much smaller pie. So I've been talking a lot about this book, Fanatical Prospecting. A friend of mine pointed this out to me and I started reading and going, this is it. This is what you're teaching, Wally. Like a 7-day call, a 30-day call, a 6-month call, an annual review call. That's fanatically prospecting, building relationships, adding value. And it's not sexy. It never gets easier. But the difference between superstars and average performers is superstars just relentlessly prospect. They're always looking for opportunity. They're always looking for ways to fill up their pipeline and grow their relationships. So you gotta find the people who have your energy. You gotta genuinely care. You've got to find a way to make a difference in somebody else's life. I talked to a guy yesterday in Colorado and he said, I want to be more authentic. I don't want to just say, hey, I'd love to have a cup of coffee and get to know you. And I was like, well, what do you really want then? What is authentic? Like, what do you want? Just say direct and bold what you want. Like, Wally, I would love to learn your system. I'd love to fly to Dallas and watch your team work. Is there a world where that could maybe happen? Yes or no? Like, be direct about what it is that you want, because hopefully you're willing to back it up. Like, Wally, I want to see if we're an energy match and our values align and we want to do business together, and see if what you need help with in your business is something I could provide help with. Because honestly, I don't make $1 until you make $1. So maybe you need help generating leads. Where do you get your leads now? Are you door knocking? Are you willing to do open houses? Are you willing to make cold calls? Are you willing to meet with business professionals? What is it that you're willing to do? And let's see what I can do with you to help you do business. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to roll up our sleeves. We have to put on our muddy boots. We have to get in there with people and say, like, okay, let's look at your leads the last 90 days. Let's go through every single one of them. Are they stalled? What price point are they? Could we talk about this new, grant program that we have? Could we talk to them about a cosigner? Could we share a success story? Like, we just need to get in the weeds with people and figure that out. But so many people, Wally, are just sitting back, hesitating and procrastinating on even making the call because they're going, how can I be valuable?
Well, let's talk a little bit about mindset. I mean, everything you just described about is, thinking differently. And, we were so blessed with the great run of 2020, 2021, and clearly only half of 2022. But, a lot of loan officers, unfortunately, are still holding on to that. Like they're hoping that comes back, and unfortunately, we all know that it's pixie dust. I mean, I've done this since 1999 and going through the .com burst, going through the recession, going through COVID, and now going through whatever this is called. It's a complete different shift. But, one thing that really helped me get through the recession quite a bit was I built this mindset that I had to work twice as hard to make half the money. Had to work twice as hard to make half the money. And the mindset that I see so many loan officers have of they're trying to hold on to old ways, trying to hold, these old ways will not open new doors. So do you struggle at all with loan officers that you coach or you mentor? And if so, like, what's your advice to them?
Yeah, well, I think, it's been said that 35% of the people will get out of the business. I don't know what that looks like, but what I can tell you is that people aren't going to get out of the business, Wally, because they can't handle living on one loan a month in terms of paying their bills. Fortunately, loan sizes have gotten so much bigger. There are people living off of one loan a month, which to me is absurd. Like, I do not think that you're a professional and that I would want to trust you with the huge financial transaction in my life if the last time you did a VA loan was 5 months ago. Like, you don't know what you're doing if you're not doing volume and you're really knowing your options and your products. But I think the reason that people will quit and move on and find something else to do is because they will wake up and not want to do this. They will realize that this job is actually a sales job. Like, I got to wake up and I get to eat what I kill. And I got to go out and look for opportunity and make it rain and create my own opportunity. And I just don't feel like doing that. I think if you think about 2019 as well was a really incredible year. I mean, rates continued to drop the entire year. That was a landslide of a year. So there's a lot of people that for 19, 20, 21, and half of 22 that you could have a great first half and then suck the second half. That was 4 years that you didn't even have to prospect. Like, there's a lot of people who love doing loans. They like the puzzle. They like the borrower interaction. They like handing a first-time homebuyer their keys, which is amazing. It's what keeps us all engaged, right? I mean, every day we meet a new customer that has a new life situation that we've never dealt with before and thousands of loans, and it keeps you stimulated intellectually. But it's a sales job. Like, you've got to be out there building your reputation and building your brand and building referral partners and getting the phone to ring. And I think that's why people will get out of the businesses, because they actually don't like a sales job. They like a loan job, but they don't like a sales job. So how do you get over that? I think it's first just acknowledging that this is the kind of job I have. Like, waking up in the morning and say, I am a sales professional. And if I'm going to be in sales, if I'm going to do anything, I'm not going to suck at it and I'm not going to be mediocre at it. Like, I'm going to be the best in class. I'm not going to just do this and not be awesome. So you've got to be obsessed with improving all those things. How's your first call? How's your energy? How's your attire? How is your follow-up? How is your connection skills? How is your presentation skills? Every one of these things is a skill set to obtain. The greatest thing is that you can never take away somebody's skills. So whether you're in this industry or you're in medical sales or you're selling tires or insurance or whatever, you've got to learn all these parts and pieces, and you've got to be honest with yourself to go, I make a lot of calls and get very few appointments. I kind of suck at that then. How can I get better? How can I sit and have somebody listen to me? How can I record myself and listen back? But like, get obsessed with getting good at all those little parts and pieces.
Yeah. You cannot be any more right. And one thing that I've learned that's really helped me be a multiplier in business instead of being an addition in business, focus on being a multiplier, is allied resources. You see a lot of these loan officers are just simply cold calling agents, and or they're simply just showing up at open houses. And I get that, and I've been there and I've done that, but they forget how pivotal a call from the title company closer to the agent saying, hey, you got to have Wally come do your open house with you. You've got to have Wally do the door knocking with you. You've got to sit down and have a coffee with Wally. The same thing with your appraisers. The same thing with just the different vendors that we all use, from your insurance agents. But the mindset that I think loan officers are really missing, and what I'm really trying to help focus on, is there's a whole new world out there. Not new, I apologize, not new. It's been there for a very long time. But it's newly discovered, is the CPAs, the financial advisors, the family will attorneys, the insurance, and so on. And them being the wealth partners and being able to, for us to be the captain of the wealth partners and being that quarterback that drives referrals to them, they drive referrals back to us and we drive
Yeah.
referrals back to the realtor. It's a totally different mindset. It's a totally different mindset. And when I coach loan officers and I help them understand that, and they go through a client concierge process and or through the academy, the biggest thing I really try to help them understand is there's an easier way of doing business other than just getting hung up on all the time and doors closed in your face. Do you experience that? Do you see that at all in your market, and or do you see that with loan officers from your world?
Well, I love what you're saying about be a multiplier. And, like you talk a lot about raving fans and, it's as simple as like, hey, Wally, you're awesome. Thank you so much. You know what my current goal is? I want to meet 3 new agents that are hustling, that are out there really working, and I want to do open houses with them. Like, I've realized that a deficit for a lot of these agents is even collecting the borrower's information.
Mhm.
It's giving a valuable tool to educate people about the market, or to, show off their professional skills that can really bring value to a buyer. Like, it would be incredible if you could introduce me to 2 or 3 agents that, you say these words to. I mean, that took a minute. And it's that intention of every time somebody says, God, you're awesome, or wow, I see you're doing that, is asking for that stuff, like you said, and being a multiplier. So I think that's super helpful.
Yeah.
I
And
think what you're teaching in 24/7 mindset and your academy, and by the way, your stuff is so well produced, Wally. You are clear, you are concise, it's engaging, it's beautiful. You've broken it down into parts and pieces. You've given out a script. I mean, I just have so much admiration for what you've done. And I'd love off camera to go, okay, how long did it take you to build this, like, this thought process funnel from I'm writing a book and I'm doing a podcast and I'm doing all this content creation, and because it's really incredible how you're executing, but what you're selling, what your product is, what you're teaching is invaluable to be able to give people the steps. It's really then about, are you going to fanatically prospect? Are you going to implement? Are you going to say, oh, that was a really nice idea, now I'm moving on to the next shiny idea? Because this is like earth shattering, life changing, business shifting work that you're doing with people. So I don't think we're doing, I have over 4,000 people in my database, and I've got somebody who's helping me call on it. But, I was going through your academy going, I just need to restructure everything with this person and with the loan officers and with the scripting. And you make it easy to say, like, okay, this is how you do it, and you can get it going. So I know that we're not doing it as an industry. I absolutely know that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty neat, the opportunity, simply because it's a whole untapped world out there. And, I started focusing on, when you went off to Spain, I started focusing on annual mortgage reviews and 2019. And, it's a God thing, and it's a energy thing, and it's just a blessing, because in 2019, our database was about 2,000 past clients. And by 2020, our database was up to 12,000 past clients. We did not close 9,000 loans in 12 months, but we started doing annual mortgage reviews that grew to mortgage efficiency checkups on our current database. But you run out of people to call when there's only 2,000 people in your database. So I started reaching out to my CPAs, started reaching out to my financial advisors, started reaching out to my family will attorney, my insurance agents, and adopting their databases. And when I say adopting their databases, well, some people ask me, well, do you put cold like data in them? Like, absolutely not. First of all, they go into our mortgage coach. Second, they go into our home bot. Third, they go into our sales boomerang. And then we use our BombBomb videos on a monthly basis, me and the CPA, me and the financial advisor, me and the family will attorney, me and the insurance agent, every single month to their database. So I'm dripping value every single month with an allied resource, which is the CPA's database. And I'm serving their database, adding value to their database. And then my client concierge calls their database and says, hey, your CPA, John, wanted you to connect with Wally to do a mortgage efficiency checkup. Did you see the video that John, the CPA, sent you? Did you see the video that Bob, the financial advisor, sent you? It's such an easy way to be able to adopt databases. And when you're going from 2,000 past clients to a database of 11 and 12,000, now it's 28,000 in our database. It's such a multiplier of business because we're driving so many referrals back to us that we're able to drive to our realtors coming from those wealth partners. And, it's the mindset of being able to, how do you think differently to allow you to multiply your business versus how do you think like everyone else and just slowly increment your business up?
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm wondering about is how many professionals are you recording video with every month now to have 28,000?
I don't record any more videos. My team does. So the team broke down to 5 loan officers, and the top 5 loan officers will serve. I think in our financial advisors is 76 financial advisors that the team refers business to, 12 CPAs, 4 family will life attorneys, and 3 insurance companies. So it's the business is now run by the team versus run by me. Remember how we talked about you went to Spain and you got out of the way, and I started getting out of the way like 2021-ish, early 2022. But the biggest thing is, I'm the one that built all the systems. I'm the one that built all the models. I'm the one that built all the structure. And, that's my role right now is, hey, how do you make things go from here to here, more efficiency to be able to optimize and, driving more, being their rainmaker of referral partners.
Right. So, and you said not just being their vendor, but being a true like lending partner. And that's a distinct shift. And also when you become, like a subservient vendor, like I'm always kissing your butt. You're amazing. You're pretty. I'm ugly. You're smart. I'm stupid. You're motivated. I'm lazy, whatever, to like, at least we're equals and we respect each other. And I become a consultant and a partner more than, just a vendor you pass things on to. So a question I have for you, Wally, is have any of these vendors like given you monetary results in terms of how much your referrals back to them have netted new clients, or how much commission to their bottom line or revenue to their?
Yeah, from 2019 when we started to 2022, I stopped tracking it in 2022, but we would do monthly goal meetings. So when I'd sit down with a wealth partner and I'd ask him up front, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm a competitive guy. I just am. Tell me a little bit about your biggest number one referral source that you have. So for a financial advisor, their referral sources are usually CPAs. For a family will attorney, the referral sources are usually like estate planning attorneys, such from there. And so they'd say, Bob has referred me 50 clients last year. Cool. Out of 50 clients, just between me, you, and the fence post, how much income did that generate you? $100,000. Okay, awesome. So why are you asking, Wally? Because I want to be able to generate more business and more income for you than Bob did and be able to help you do more than $100,000. Okay. So if it's $100,000 and let's just amortize it down about $8,000 a month of revenue, how many clients is that? It's 2 new clients a month, whatever the number comes out to be. Okay, so it's 2 new clients a month. Tell me about your closing ratio. And they say every 4 clients I get, I close 2. Okay, awesome. So that means I got to focus on getting you 1 referral a week. So you close 2 referrals. So you can make $10,000 a month, and then I become your number 1 referral source. Yeah. That's the correct math. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start referring you clients. And what I want to do is us to have a coffee, at least on a monthly basis, going through how I did and from what client you generated what income on, because I really want to become your number 1 referral partner. Simple. I'm competitive and I want to win. That's all this is. So it did 2 things. One, it allowed us to track back and forth so I can prove to them that we became the number 1 referral source. However, it also turned out to be a great tool to be able to come back and say, well, because right after the goal setting, they're going, okay, well, what about you, Wally? Who's your number 1 referral source? How many referrals do you want from me? What are your expectations back? And if the financial advisors or CPAs or whoever that didn't ask that question back, super clear taker.
Yep.
Right. And there's a great book by Adam Grant, and it's called Give and Take. And there's three
Yeah.
types of people in the world. Super easy. There's the givers, there's the takers, and the people that give and take evenly. It clearly breaks down the most successful and the happiest people are not the givers, they're not the takers, they're the ones that give and take evenly.
Yeah.
So if you really want to understand if you're going to be a vendor or a partner to your referral partners, if you have that conversation and they do not ask you back, well, what about your goal? What do you want to accomplish? How do I become your number one referral partner? Then they're clearly going to be takers in that relationship. I explained that well?
Yeah. That was really beautifully said. And you figure out how to scale it, and you figured out how to run a team and onboard new partners, and how do you refer 76 different advisors. I mean, I know everybody listening to this is going, oh, well, what about this? And how do you do that? And the thing that I will say that you've done so beautifully in your academy, and now I understand you're doing live events as well, is that you coach all of it. You give it all away. And what you're charging is nothing. I think, $1,000 it's just crazy. But it's really helpful. Something that's got me fired up, Wally, is reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
Reverse mortgages. Do you do them now?
No, I had a loan officer in our branch that did reverse mortgages, which is great. That's kind of a gap right now in our business, just simply because working and having access to 76 different financial advisors in their database and their age of clients, it's a gold mine and a half. Just my biggest thing is you got to eat elephant one bite at a time. So that's on the list to focus on, but it's not my number one priority that I'm focused on right now.
So I'll tell you what's happened for me. I mean, I'm 19 years doing this. I've never closed a reverse. And my reasoning for that is that I want to be an expert at what I do. Yeah. And I do it at scale and volume. So if you refer me a VA loan, I probably closed 12 last month. I know the intricacies. Yeah, I've got the relationships. We make it happen. So a one-off deal like a 203K rehab loan, or a reverse mortgage where you're going to maybe do one or two a month, or a construction to perm. People get so tied up in these like one-off, like I really want to be able to do a doctor loan. Okay, great. You can sign up 40 different brokers and have that one broker that you're going to work with once a year, and you don't have any relationships established, and it's a different process. It's speaking Chinese when you speak English, but I'm not going to risk my reputation on that. I would highly refer somebody to somebody else, even if it's another bank or credit union or whomever. But here's what's changed. We acquired a company a couple months back that's a top 5 lender in reverse. So they've got an entire department built with a deal desk, with the whole software on top of Salesforce to do all the paperwork and all the analysis and everything else. And the servicing department. So we'll retain servicing. So it's not a broker thing. It's none of that. So for me, that's what I needed as an originator to feel comfortable, is the right team, the right process, and the right products. I won't put my name on brokering a one-off or whatever. So now that I've gotten into it, Wally, it's like, okay, we want to all control our own futures. Well, we are limited right now by inventory. How many houses are on the freaking market? And in my market, our inventory is down 40%. So not only and just the units sold is down 40%. So not only our refi is gone at the moment, okay, which traditionally, when you have a big business like I have, is 30% of your volume. No matter what, people are refinancing, cashing out, whatever, 30% of my volume is refi. So on average, if I do 400 or 500 deals a year, that's 120 deals gone, right? In addition to that, the inventory shrunk, and we're at mercy to that. There's only so many houses on the market, right? Well, with reverse mortgages, 10,000 people a day are turning 62. People have more equity than they've ever had in their life, and this loan is more about lifestyle for this, senior citizen than it is about, am I buying a house? Am I growing my family or shrinking my family or whatever? So, I've got both my parents looking at it because they're in their early 60s, and I'm going, if you had the option to not make a payment the rest of your life, how much meaningfully better could your quality of life be? Yeah. How much less would you have to grind in your 60s to pay down your balance a bit more that me and my 3 siblings are going to share when you die way down the road? Like, I don't care. I want you, mom and dad, to live a better quality of life now. And so anyway, that's just something that I'm really excited about. And when you start seeing the world as abundant opportunity everywhere, it's fun, right? And this is what I think you teach, Wally, is that everybody knows a CPA, everybody knows a financial, I mean, maybe not everybody, but like everybody, even my Uber driver who's 45 has a parent who's probably 65 to 70. The girl sitting next to me on the airplane who's, in her 20s probably has a grandparent that's in their 70s or 80s. And when you start asking about, are they homeowners? Are they still working? Do they have any medical stuff going on? Tell me a little bit about mom and dad. It's incredible. And people are so, so grateful because we don't realize how many people are struggling out there. How many people are, maybe they own their home free and clear, but just paying that tax bill twice a year is like a heavy lift for them. So anyway, that's my shot to you.
Yeah.
Push it up on the list.
Well, just think about it. I mean, unfortunately, my dad has passed, but my mom just turned 70. And, fortunate for us, I retired my mom 11 years ago, but if she still had to work and is living off Social Security and that's all she had, she couldn't travel. I mean, she travels now like almost 8 months out of the year, which is awesome because like I want her to experience the world and I want her to be with her family overseas. And, most elderly people are living off Social Security, but they've got this mortgage that they keep paying payments on. The biggest gap also, I think, with where financial advisors, if you got a financial advisor and they're being able to help them understand, hey, you've got to do this client of yours is 65 years old and you've got to do a disbursement to them every single month through their investment portfolio for $10,000 a month, and $2,500 of that goes to their mortgage and the rest is living, whatever. If you were able to decrease that to $7,500 if they did not have a mortgage payment, how much more could you grow their wealth or maintain their wealth a number of years on their life expectancy, if for the sake of if you had $2,500 a month more cash flow to work with? Like these conversations are not difficult to have, right? Us top producers are puzzle people, right? So if you have these conversations and you reverse engineer it that way, the financial advisor 10 out of 10 times is going to say, yeah, absolutely. I can, they're going to run out of money at the age of 84, but doing this allows them to have enough money till the age of 97, whatever it is. Or then their wealth is going to be, they're going to leave $1 million to their grandkids, or now they can leave $1.6 million to their grandkids, whatever the number comes out to be.
Yeah.
But it allows them the opportunity and it affords them the ability to perform better for their clients by removing the monthly mortgage payment if they do reverse mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. And people are living longer and everything is more expensive. I mean, inflation, it's like, I have a realtor taking me to lunch right after this call. And he goes, you bought lunch last time. I want to buy you lunch. And I looked at the menu and the salad I'm getting is $26 for a salad. And I just like, I feel bad, like asking him to buy me a $26 salad. And I'm sure that the last time I bought him a $26 salad, but it's like, are you kidding me? Just to go to lunch, it's a $60 affair. This is crazy. So anyway, this has been a super stimulating conversation, Wally. And I love how you think about being a multiplier. I love how you're a studier of wealth. I love that you're a teacher. Really, you are a teacher, bro. I mean, watching you teach, because it's one thing to have ideas, but it's another to be a great communicator and to articulate simply and not feel intimidated. And you do that. And
Thank you.
You're really offering something special to our industry. And I'm so glad that you did all the painstaking effort to build this in your business and figure out all the bumps and the grinds and, how you hire the right people and what they do and what they say and what's the right cadence. And I mean, you're giving somebody like 6 years of bumping around and trying to figure it out, like shortcutted. And that's just so valuable. And I hope that the people that dive into your work, like really freaking dive in and just do what you tell them to do. I think you said in your academy, like, if you shortcut this, then not my problem. Like, because you have to do ba, 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 ba. And why? Because you've probably shortcut it yourself. You've probably tried to automate. You've probably tried to do everything. So just do what Wally says you need to do.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for that. There's a Jay-Z quote that kind of learned to live by. And he said, I dumbed down my lyrics to double my dollars. Dumbed down my lyrics to double my dollars. And he wasn't calling his audience dumb or stupid. He was specifically saying that he made his lyrics in a way where other people were easy for them to digest. And it wasn't like brain surgery for them to understand them.
Right.
And that's how I've learned to do mortgage. What am I trying to express? What am I trying to have the borrower feel or the realtor feel? Where am I trying to take them? And what words do I need to say? They're going to create what emotions, that those emotions are going to motivate what actions.
Yeah.
And if you focus on those three things in a conversation, saying the right words that lead them to the right emotions, that leads them to the right actions, you can articulate everything and anything that you ever want to say to be able to, for them to digest it in a split second.
So true. It's really so true. I'm really grateful to have this interview and to share it, because it goes along with this 23-week challenge of fanatical prospecting that I'm teaching, which, by the way, is closed. I can't take anybody more on. I'm sending text messages every week. I think I've got 300 people doing it with me. But if you didn't join me on the challenge, just stay tuned to Instagram and a Facebook channel that I've got going, because you can pay attention. But actually just sign up for Wally's Academy and put in place over the next 6 months, put this in place in your business. Get these calls done, whether you have a concierge making $125 a week, or is it a day?
Day.
A day. Okay.
Yeah, it's 125.
Yeah. How many hours does it take to do that?
It's about 7.5 hours and 30 minutes of notes throughout the day. So it's $125 a day, that the outbound dials a day. They usually have somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 conversations, and they usually each will schedule 3 to 5 annual mortgage reviews on our calendars, a minimum of 3 6-month calls. And then they usually try to get roughly in the category between 3 to 5 referrals on a daily basis. All that's just one day of work from one employee that I paid $20 an hour to, plus bonuses. The ROI of having a client concierge, it's probably, I should probably analyze that. It's probably at least 10 or 14x what you make off that. I mean, everybody knows what their average commission is. And in the academy, I teach that, the average commission out there nationwide is over $5,000 per loan. And, we've had, almost 7 years worth of data so far that we've analyzed, and the average referrals from a client after closing and or loans that you've done or from their wealth advisors is a minimum of 5 different closings. So each closing that we have equates to $25,000 of commissions over the next 5 years if you follow this process.
Yes.
And to me, if it's one of these things where you and I are residual income people, and we love wealth and real estate. And if I can make $5,000 once, or I can make $25,000 over 5 years, I'm going to make $25,000 over 5 years. But you've got to have a process to follow.
And forget about just the impact that we are making on somebody's life trajectory, on their wealth creation, because we actually stay in their life. Like, the $25,000 is nothing relative to what we're giving back. And that's when you talk about being a equal give take person. I always strive to give way more than I would take. And I think in what you're teaching is that I'm giving 5x to what I'm taking, but your business is now multiplying. You're a multiplier. So
yeah. So give us your closing thoughts, and the listeners, obviously everybody would be as impressed with you as I am with you. How do they get a hold of you? How do they get a hold of you? What do you want to share with them?
Thank you. My primary job is to be a branch manager, and I've got about 27 or so loan officers in a couple states. I'm in Nevada and California and Arizona, and would love to be in Utah. I'm in Colorado. So I love managing, directing, leading, coaching people who are super driven. I just interviewed a 23-year-old the other day. We're hiring, and he'll start as a client concierge, Wally, and he's just driven. He wants to make something happen in his life, and I love that. And I think I've always been so driven that I've kind of been the outcast. I've always felt like maybe I need to tone it down, or not talk business at this thing or whatever. But it feels so fun when you can actually get around other people that are that driven, and you're no longer weird. Like, you're like, whoa, like these people are all like me, and I need to step up my game in order to be deserving of this position of leadership. So I love hiring and being around people that make me want to be better and raise my game every day. So that's what I'm after. But you can connect with me on Instagram. I have a Facebook group. I'm trying to put out stuff just like Wally is, because I really believe I'm an average girl that's created this unbelievable life and wealth in her business, and it's possible for others. And I just feel compelled to teach people how to do it, to inspire people to just play big and be bold and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And your videos are just have so much passion and so much energy that they're just so captivating. So,
Thank
all
you.
right. You bet. It's definitely inspiration, and I try to watch all of them, if not as many as I can, for sure. I just say this biggest thing in closing thoughts on my end is today, Shayla breaks down what's made her special. Now, does Shayla do everything perfectly? Probably not. Maybe, but probably not.
Nope.
What I'd probably say, if you're listening to this and you're as inspired as I am by Shayla, is look at her recipe for her success. Look at the steps that she took to make herself successful and the people around her to be successful. If you reduplicate those steps and you reduplicate that mindset, you'll have the same amount of success that she's had, if not more, and hopefully more success than I've even achieved. So thank you so much for listening. And if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. If you're not part of our private Facebook group, go to 24-7 mindset, 24-7 mindset, and the page will pop up. And then always feel free to reach out. Let me know what I can do to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally.
So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 Mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 Mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis, but from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.